we are going to go into the Kuketsu Shoge land. All right, first of all, um, when I first started training, I didn't have enough money to buy the real fancy pre-made ones. You can find these on different places, Amazon and some other ones. All you need to do is carve yourself out one of wood, get a jigsaw or something like that. Some people even just have a straight stick at first. But the string, rope, and the end ring are important for training. So, what I've found over the years is to go to a pet supply store and buy yourself one of the dog chewy rings. They're really cool. They last long, and when you're starting to like spar with these and you're really hitting people, it won't hurt people as much. We've still had some minor injuries with eyes and people getting whapped really hard on their arms and stuff. But, when you're training hard and good and seeing if your stuff works, you want to kind of up the level. But when you're doing basics at first and you're not wanting to get hurt, chewy ring is good for when you get hit because you're spinning this thing a lot and you don't want your animals in the house or furniture or other things getting dinged. Okay, the rope is very important. I like to try a bunch of different styles of rope, and this one that is here is like almost like a climber's rope without the rigidity to it. So it has a little bit of a sheen on it. I just go to the hardware store like Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever and go to the rope section. They've got so many cool ropes, and I've bought a lot of different ones over the years and just tried different ones. I've got I think 5 or 6 different Kuketsu Shoges, and each one has a different rope on it because I like to try to just pick up different weapons and not always have the same exact weapon and just get dialed in with one. Because if I'm traveling to teach seminars or wherever, I should be able to just pick up any weapon, inspect it for a little bit, and then be able to use it. One of the questions people ask is how long should the rope be? This particular shoge is too long for me. When I have a shoge length of a rope, when I tie it out, I like to extend my arms once and extend my arms again. And then I like to only have a foot on the end hanging, or maybe a foot and a half, 2 feet. This one is like 3 feet. So I end up having to do a lot of extra and a lot of ways of trying to keep it from getting all over the place. One of the common mistakes that'll happen once you're spinning and you have like your rope in one hand that's tied up is this end of the ropes in your hand swing, and then they'll get caught up in one of the spins, and they'll catch up and it'll not be able to spin anymore, and you'll end up getting messed up. And then if somebody's charging you, it's hard to get another shot out on them while the rope is all, bound up. So then you're going back to just using a blunt weapon, and that's okay. But it's good to have good rope management skills, and part of that is having the great length of the rope. So let's get into the basics again. So there's a bunch of different ways to think about the Kuketsu Shoge. It was an interesting weapon. The length of this is a lot of fun, and also the grappling capabilities of this is fun. And then you've got a pokey thing, so you can poke people and cut. You could have this have sharp edges on certain sides, blunt edges on another. A lot of different, interesting, cool ways. One of the ways that I've been taught to carry this as well is tuck it in your belt, have all of the loops and the ring go over the end. And that way you can deploy it if you want to, and you still have that in your belt to begin the process of reeling it back in and then being able to use it again. Another way to think about it is letting the rope drop, and now you have 2 different things that you can hit with and handle like a melee combat situation, because in the older days this would be like an ox ring or a very hard different type of metal ring. I've also done these with our Ninjas in Nature school, where we've woven different vines and different types of wood, and we've made rings with that and then bound those and then used that. And so that's pretty cool. We've used them for going over the top of tree limbs and catching and then using it to climb trees. There's a lot of different uses for it. Let's get into some of the striking and different ways of spinning with this because it's fun. All right, so one of the basic things that you're going to use a lot is how to recover this. So if I was fighting somebody on the battlefield and I threw this out and I had to gather it up again and I went like this and I'm just, hold on, don't attack me yet, and they're coming at me, it's not going to work, right? So I have to dynamically be able to bring this back in quickly. So if I throw it out, what I like to think about using is taijutsu. So I'll move over here so you can see my footwork. My one hand will be holding the shoge, and then I'm going to come back with 1 step, 2 steps, and I can already be back into a spin here. All right? So after you throw it out, let's do it slow so you can get the basics down. I throw my ring out. I miss the person, and now I have to retrieve it. I let my front hand that's grabbing onto the rope, I let it slip through that as I pull the length out. Then I take the shoge end and I gather really quickly towards the hand, the rope. And now I've got my first set. Then I pull again. And I've taken a whole nother 4 or 5 feet and then bring my other hand in and grab that section. And by the second or third step, I can already be back into the spin and then be able to do my attack again. Right? So one more time, we've thrown the ring out. Boom, we missed. We have to recover it. I go 1, 2, and I'm back into my spin. And now this is where you can see with my 2 gather ups, I don't like the length of the rope on this shoge, but it's what I was given. So maybe I was thrown this by a friend on a battlefield because my sword got knocked out of my hand and he's like, here's your shoge, boom, catch it, and I've got to use it now, right? So I better know how to adapt and overcome. All right, so now you guys have the recovery methods. So now let's practice some of the striking methods. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the spinning methods. One of the things I like to do to show you guys is how I gather. So after I'm gathering, I'm putting my first set of ropes in towards the shoge. My second set of my loop goes right in front of that. And the third, I'm gathering on again and I'm able to spin this. Okay? So this hand with those loops on it can go against my chest. And what I've found, if I'm spinning side to side, the loops stay closer to me than if I have it out here, and you can start to see they swing around and it gets kind of messy. So if I hold it against my chest and I do my spins, I can do my movement, no problem. They'll still move a little bit, but not as much as if I hold it out here and they start to move around in a bigger way. So that's a good pointer for you guys with Kuketsu Shoge work who want to get faster with your spinning techniques and be able to move and flow with it in different ways without the loops coming up so that you can whip it out. A lot of the similar stuff with Chinese dart. There's a lot of cool videos out there on that as well. And it's fun to do that as well. Shoge and dart are a lot alike. Okay, so forward spin. A typical way to hold for a forward spin is palm down. You hold the end of the rope with your thumb, and you're just letting your hand turn over. Palm up, palm down, palm up, palm down, palm up, palm down. You can blade your body, just like in Rokushakubo. Rokushakubo and Kuketsu Shoge spinning are very similar. It's like a mote and ura, hard and soft. You have one flexible weapon and one hard weapon, but the way that you can get them to move and flow, they become very similar. When you're spinning a shoge with a ring on the end, it stiffens the rope in a really cool manner, and then it's just like a Rokushakubo where you can hit people's hands. You can come over the top on top of their helmet, crush down on a shoulder. If they have an arm or a limb out, you can just try to hit that. You can try to fling it at their horse for a distraction into the eyes, maybe break the forehead and come in. And so it has a lot of advantages with this weapon, especially since you can retrieve it then once you've thrown it. Shuriken, once you've thrown it, you better have more, or you got to go retrieve them, and that might not be the best thing for you on whatever the situation is. Okay, so that's forward spin. Palm up, palm down, palm up, palm down. Second version of forward spin, I grab it palm down, and now I'm actually rotating it on the outside of my fist by my little pinky on that outside. And this one, I can also turn side to side, but my thumb kind of turns up and goes one way and then the other. You're the drunk hitchhiker. Woo! Right? You're going to have it on the outside of your hand, and you're going side to side. This way is really good for shooting overhead shots when you're doing releases at people's face and upper level things. When you have a reverse flow and you're going like lower towards knees, groin, ankles, feet, things like that, the reverse spin is better. And after you throw hundreds and hundreds of those shots out and those spins out, you'll start to see where the Gokui no Kata, the Sanshin no Kata, comes into effect. All those years of practicing those forms where you're doing Chi no Kata, you're like, oh man, I was just able to hit totally accurately exactly where I wanted to go because I've done that Sanshitan Ken Chi no Kata over and over again. Same thing with the overhead one. Sui no Kata or Ka no Kata, you're throwing the shuto. That shuto can come right over. So once you have your body mechanics of basics down and you know angling, distancing, and timing, weapons can become alive instantly just from you knowing basics and then adding those principles to your strikes and to your strategies. All right? So let's go through those two strikes in a little more detail. What I do is I'll have my rope gathered up. I'm going to do my palm up backspin. As I'm doing my backspin, I think about my release happening as soon as it passes the center line. So I've passed my center line and I let go. What that does is it gives me a glide right along the floor. It doesn't angle up. If I want it to angle up, I maybe hit the person's chin, go for their eyes. I'm going to do a later release, and then it's going to start to take a trajectory angle on the way up. So you could play with this for hours and hours. It's so much fun. I took this camping one time, and we're at a campsite, and I've got my wife sitting in a chair and holding it, and I was trying to do the lasso move that I'll show you guys later on. And this park ranger came by, and he's like, "Are you lassoing your wife?" Yep. It was great. Okay, so there's the back shot, the lower level shot. Grabbing palm down, going over the top here. You're going to come in, rotate it forward for a forward shot, and then step forward and do your release just as you're passing that middle section by your head. That will then shoot forward and not in a downward angle. Unless you are trying to get that downward angle, then you can do a later release. So figuring out this angling, distancing, and timing of where to go just takes practice over and over again. Practice, practice, practice. It's the fun part of training, and it's the zone where you're forgetting about everything else in your day, and you're just getting to do your movement, and that's when the flow starts to happen. Nothing else really matters at that second, and then you're getting to practice your hits. Awesome. So those are two different ways of spinning, two different ways of striking. Let's give you a third one. This is the lasso technique. So when I grab this one, I typically grab palm up. You can do it the other way with a reverse grip with palm down. The other rope just seems to me to get in the way. So I think I have more control with palm up on this one when I'm going around. This one is really good for snaring legs or coming around necks, wrapping around weapons. Like if somebody's holding a sword in different like stances, you can come over the top and do a wrap around, but you can also wrap around from the side and come around and loop over their hands and then pull really quickly, and you can pull swords out of people's hands from different postures that they might be in. So, round the head, I keep the other hand, this is critical on this one, close to the chest so that those other loops don't fly up, and then I let go and release. And we get a nice shot from those. You can also let loops out as you're going around here, and this can go really big. I'm not going to hit the lights and cameras in here, but you can, I call it the room clearer. You can get it so that you're almost the full length of your whole shoge is out with that, that side over the top one. So those are 3 different strikes: reverse, spin, low shot, over the top, high shot, and around the head, and a sideways let go, release. Now, one of the things that I've been doing but not really talking about is the control with the backhand while I'm doing all these releases. So let me show you guys what's happening here. I've got loop 1, I've got loop 2, and now I'm ready to throw. As this throw goes out, it might only go that far because I didn't release any of my loops. But when I've been showing you guys, I've been hitting the pad across the room. It's because I'm letting go of either one of my loops, where right there I just made it almost to it, or I can let go of both loops with this backhand. So I let go, and now it'll travel that whole way. So I just release and I re-grab in like a moment's notice, just because I don't want the whole thing pulling away from me unless I'm ditching this to go to another weapon and draw a sword or get into something else. So the management and control of that second hand and the release of that rope becomes critical later on. You guys are going to have to practice that one. And that's when we get into one of our advanced things. So this is one of my funnest things that, well, yeah, I'd say probably the funnest thing that I like to do with the Kuketsu Shoge is this particular move, because it's another one of those fake out moves. It's the tricky ninja stuff that we all want to know about, right? So this starts with a backward spin, and I shoot it out towards somebody's face, and then it comes back into a forward spin. I keep my other loops in my hand. I'm not letting those go, and I'm doing something tricky with the backhand here. So as I slide this forward, I pull it back through with my front hand. So I'll try to do that slower. I release it and I pull back through and shorten the loop up again. What I can do with this then is throw it at somebody and make it look like I'm going to hit them, and then I come back and I change directions, and then I could come over with some other type of strike, right? So I'm shooting it forward like Chino Kata, and then I pull it back in. I shoot it forward and then I pull it back in. This is a tricky move. What we'd like to do at our dojo is we'll set up some bags. We'll put like a ball on top of the bag, and we'll see if we could just tap the ball just a little bit and then come back over and hit the top of the ball. Once you're good at that, we'll try to tap the ball, come over the top, and just land the shoge on the top of it and see if we can get it from knocking it off and just get a perfect land on top. You can also feather it so that you like let it out nice and soft and stall it out right over an object and let it drop softly onto the object, or hand it to somebody and just go, oh, here you go. And they can catch it right there and grab it. And then we go into that other tricky move that I'll show you with the loop. So this one, it'll take some people a while to dial this in. You start your backspin. I like to step forward with the same side that I'm spinning on. So I'm spinning with my right hand. I like to step with my right foot. I let it out, pull back with my left. Now I'm back into the front spin, and I can come bam, with a big smash down. So it's right foot, pull it back in, over the top, and smash. Back spin, right foot, pull it back, over the top, and smash. All right, so I hope you guys like that one. Here's the last one of the day for you. So this one is throwing the loop. So I'm gonna usually we'll have a partner hold the ring and have the string go down. So what I'm gonna do is show you guys by throwing this out. We'll get a sideways view on this one. I hold the rope in my thumb, and then I pick up my 2 fingers and I put it around the back side of my hand, almost like I'm holding a shuriken, a bow shuriken in my front hand here. I'll have this rope a little bit behind my arm, and then I throw a loop down the rope. So let's see if you guys can see that from the screen. Throw the loop down. All right. What this will do, if I give the person the ring and throw it to them and they catch it in their hand, and I throw this loop down, I can actually get the loop to fall over and grab their wrist, and it binds on itself. So this is a really tricky move to do, but you can do it. Let's see if we can set it up here on one of the swords in the corner over here. See if you guys can see this one. So I'm going to take that loop. I'm going to stand almost directly in front of it. Sometimes I'll even go out to the side a little bit, and I'll throw that loop down, and there you go. I got it on the first one. It bound back over on itself. Let me pick this up and bring it to the camera so that you guys can see it. And here is where I grabbed it, and it's right through the ring. So this loop is actually twisted over on itself, and then it binds on to that wrist or whatever you have. Like for here, I just put it onto the rack with the swords. You could put that onto a doorknob and put your ring on the doorknob and then throw that loop at your doorknob. There's some really cool techniques with this one where I throw this out, person catches it, I throw the loop, it binds on them, and then I step down on the rope to pull them down and then go in for a cut with the shoge string. So this will be a good one for you guys to challenge yourself with. If you can't get what it looks like here, we also have a Rokushaku or a Kuketsu Shoge video that you guys can get, and it shows basics of this, working with different people, and it has different camera angles where you can see the holds and stuff better. Just go out and go to ninjatrainingtv.com and you can find that if you want to get into Kuketsu Shoge more. All right, well, there's some basics with the Kuketsu Shoge, just enough to get you guys kind of into it and see what it's all about. Wanted to make sure that I promote the 30-day Ninja Challenge that's coming up. It's just something we put together to have a lot of fun, to give people a sampling of ninjutsu who maybe have never done it, who maybe think they can't handle it, maybe they are too sore, they think they're too old, or think they're too young, or don't know if they have the ability to do some of the stuff. Give it a try. In the privacy of your own home, in your yard, you'll be able to do all of this fun, cool ninja stuff. Try to see what it's like to be a ninja for 30 days and give yourself a really cool experience. We're going to have some prizes with it that are going to be weekly and grand prize winner as well. The announcements for those will come out soon. We'll have a nice form for you guys to fill out if you'd like to join that group. And we'll have a private Facebook page, and we'll have all of our contests be posting their videos and things on that. So it's going to be a lot of fun when it comes out. Hope you guys like the Kuketsu Shoge. Hope you've been having a lot of fun, and I hope you're all out there training in ninjutsu and expanding your world. There's so many cool things that ninjutsu teaches with angling, distancing, and timing, and awareness. Your awareness is really what's important in life. You can observe so many beautiful things that this life has to offer, and hopefully you'll be gaining some of those insights by training. It'll help your heart grow, and it'll help you become a better person as well. So one of the reasons why I keep training is I keep wanting to polish that mirror and make a better me, even if it's just a little bit every day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and as always, keep training.